Hi, everyone. Welcome to Transition Awareness Breathing Podcast. This is Eartha. Well, it's my emoji, Eartha, but it's me. Today, I would like to talk to you about a lot of situations that's going on. And unless we have our eyes closed, I think everyone is aware of the stress and the pain that's going on in the world. So how do we deal with the pain? How do we deal with the stress? It is bleeding into our school environments. First of all, I would like to start by just saying mindfulness is documented to decrease stress and to decrease pain and pain perception. With that being said, before we begin, let's set some clear expectations. If there's a situation that is causing pain or causing stress, we know that over time, our bodies can really have a negative effect as a response to prolonged stress and prolonged pain. It's important for us to take care of ourselves. It's not a selfish thought. It's not a selfish action. Our emotions, our minds need to be able to come down from really dangerous levels of stress and pain. And what I'm going to offer for you for this podcast is a tool. This is a tool that I learned in Gina Biegel's class when I took the certification class in her Stress Teen Workshop. So I'd like to share it with you because I think it's pretty appropriate. I am so sorry for particularly our students, for everyone, but our students who are threatened when they're going to school and they want to get an education. They're trying to better themselves. And yet they're on a ground where they feel frightened and they don't feel safe. In the colleges, in the high schools, simply because of differences of religion, of race, because of other people's political views. I hope what I share with you today will help bring light and renew light within you, that you can come away from this podcast with a new sense of relief from stress and pain. So let's get started. So while I'm sharing, I'm going to take a look at my notes. So, it's a lot of information. I want to make sure I get this straight for you. Pain. Life is full of pain. And when we say pain, we mean physical pain, mental pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain. It hurts. For young adults and teens, it could mean a headache or a limb that is injured, or it could mean pain when parents are getting divorced, or a college didn't accept your application, or if you're a high school student, the pain of getting bullied for whatever reason is painful. So when we talk about pain, one thing is for sure, the pain is real, regardless if it's any of those other kinds of pains where it came from. The pain is real. And accepting that pain, that I'm having pain and I'm not going to run away from the pain, is step one. So accepting the pain and being aware that I'm having pain, or this is a painful situation, is important, because we don't want to run away from the pain or bury the pain. We're acknowledging the pain, and we are being aware of the pain. And this is why it's important. We're going to use our pain situation and we're going to measure it. Okay, so if you're in a situation right now and it's pretty uncomfortable, let's put a measuring scale to the situation. And this is a model that Gina Biegel shared, and it's the Shinzen Young model, and it's called stress, pain, and suffering. Stress equals pain times blocking. So let me walk you through it first. Now, I know that a lot of times, especially with teens, some words might sound kind of old-fashioned or boring. And so other words have replaced those old-fashioned and boring words, which is fine. It's cool. One word that you may be familiar with if you're a teen, or if you're an adult and you keep up to par with some of this terminology, is called blocking. And the old-fashioned word used to be negative coping skills. But negative coping skills, it doesn't, it's like, who uses that? But blocking is usually associated with teens or youth. And what it is, it's a way of responding to pain. The outcome, what usually happens when there's blocking, is it leads to increased stress. So many times when this blocking happens, it causes people to avoid strategies that can really help. So here's a list of examples of what we mean by blocking. Using substances to numb the pain, drugs, alcohol, vapes, whatever. Physical harm to one's self or others. This is where the bullying and the violence may be coming in to play, or you may be experiencing. Verbal abuse, isolating or pushing away people in your life, denying or just avoiding the situation. This is part of blocking. Negative changes in eating or sleeping. So that may mean not eating at all, not sleeping at all, or overeating or oversleeping. It's negative. It doesn't help the body recharge or get adequate nutrition. Clinging or holding on to pain. And what that means is just reliving the pain, reliving the situation. Another word for that is ruminating. Just can't let it go. Judging oneself or judging others. This is called blocking. Now, before I finish the list with the last few items, are you seeing some of these things going on around your community, around your world? Okay, let's go on. Changing the use of electronic media. Maybe being on the social media too much. It's just taking over your life, trying to keep up to date with what's going on. Using comments such as, I should have did this, or I could have done this, or I would have done this. This blocking. Self-doubt, guilt, or blame. And oftentimes, especially younger children and teens, oftentimes that is very, very high. Children blame themselves for situations, and it's not your fault. This is not yours. This is not your monkey. This is a term of saying that someone has a problem, and they try to give you that problem, and so the problem is kind of on your back, and so you might hear the term the monkey on your back. It's not yours. It's not your problem. It's not your issue. These are all parts of blocking. Let's go on. So sometimes teens might have a feeling that they have no control in their life, and they're struggling with gaining an independence in their lives. They want to participate. They want to be a change agent. They want to make up their own minds and their own decisions. And it's understandable. At the same time, as our teens are getting older and they're maturing, they're also learning that we do have to follow instructions. As even adults, we have to learn how to follow instructions from coaches, teachers, adults, organizations. And so this is such a transition, and the body is changing, and so much is going on. So when events happen and causes more stress, it can get pretty overwhelming. So this model that I'm talking about is set up like in an equation. And it's set up like stress equals pain times blocking. So let's move to a case study so that maybe this equation can be a little bit more clear and how we can use it as a gauge. And I'm going to try to make this case study realistic for situations that's going on right now. So let's say we have a young girl, student, she's 16 years old, and she's been going to the school since she started high school, her and her best friend. And let's say this young girl is, her name is Lizzie. Everybody calls her Lizzie. And she and her friends have been hanging out, and, she has a best friend, Anna. And they've been the best buddies since second grade. They even went to the same high school. Well, they come from different backgrounds. Lizzie is Jewish, and although her family, they're not super observant, they do recognize their Jewishness, and they're proud of it. And Anna is non-Jewish, and it's never been a problem. However, a lot of people at the school are starting to say things and to use different bullying words and situations that's very hurtful for Lizzie and Anna. And so, there's name calling, there's isolations, the groups they used to hang out with. They don't want to, these groups, they're usually they're hangout groups. They don't want to associate with Lizzie and Anna, because Anna is Lizzie's friend. And they're both hurt. Now, these are smart girls, and they've been kind to everyone. And so they go to their teachers and their counselors, and nobody's helping them. It's gotten to a point where Lizzie doesn't want to go to school anymore, and Anna is pulling back. She's confused. She can't understand what's going on. They are not speaking to each other anymore. Lizzie is not eating, and she's kind of lost her appetite, and she's not able to sleep. And she just keeps thinking about the mean things that people are saying about her and her Judaism and her religion. And she could tell they really don't understand what they're talking about. Anna is checking the social media. She's on the cell phone all the time. She's trying to get an understanding of what's going on. And she's beginning to feel that maybe all this is her fault. That maybe Lizzie wants her space. And she's not sleeping very well. And so Anna doesn't want to be friends with anybody. So she starts to eat more. She starts to bring food into her room, and she's hiding it. And she's starting to gain a little weight. And so when she goes to school, she's getting picked on because of her weight. And the days that Lizzie goes to school, she's so thin. And she's getting picked on. Okay, so let's stop there. And let's look at our case study and look at the blocking behaviors that's going on. Because both of these girls are in pain. And both of these girls are in situations that's causing a lot of emotional stress. And so a recommended solution to a situation could be something like this. Both girls are best friends, and they care about each other. And so the school recognizes they have a problem. Lizzie and Anna's parents, they've been close as well. I mean, their girls have grown up together. They've had all kind of play dates. And they know that they need to get their children some help. So the school may offer support. A suggestion would be is to encourage these young ladies to talk to a therapist or their family, to start talking, because one blocking thing that they're doing is not talking, and they are pulling away from their environment. So when they start talking, it's important to listen to however they can express themselves, to be empathetic and to listen to them. Now, let's talk about the blocking. So I would ask Anna and I would ask Lizzie, on a scale of 0 to 100, and I would ask them to gauge their blocking behaviors. And so in listening to them, I would help them identify which behaviors are blocking behaviors. Do you remember what the blocking behaviors were? Okay, there was changing in eating, changes in the use of social media. Anything else that you come up with? Isolating oneself, blaming oneself. And so there were a few, right? So we would take one at a time. And because what we want to do is to use those blocking elements as a way to understand that what we are doing, we can change. We can take care of ourselves. And so maybe let's take one blocking behavior is changing in eating. And so I would ask, so rate the range of how much you feel your eating behavior has changed on a scale of 0 to 100. And maybe, let's say Lizzie says, I'm not eating, I'm not hungry, so I feel like I've changed maybe like 80%. Okay, let's just take that example. And so we would multiply the number that they rated their pain times the blocking behavior. And so maybe Lizzie said her blocking behavior was 80 and the pain was a 60. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the equation out on a piece of paper and show you how we can scale and graph the stress equals pain times blocking. Okay, I'm going to switch the camera around. Okay, so here's the scale that I drew. And let's say Lizzie said that her blocking, as far as not eating, she ranged it as an 80. And so here, I'm going to rate the blocking as an 80. Okay, so I'll put a mark right here. And on a pain scale, I would ask Lizzie, on a scale of 0 to 100, how would you rate your pain right now? Okay, and maybe she says a 60. Okay, and so I would put a mark right here, 60. And then let's look here. Let's connect the dots. It collected here and here. And we would multiply 60 times 80. Okay? And so the stress unit, if we multiply 60 times 80, that would be 4,800. And so according, as the equation is set up, stress equals pain times blocking. Okay? And this would be the stress unit. And so here we have a visual of our blocking behavior, our pain behavior, and our stress. So let's say if I was talking with Lizzie, or if it was on, I would talk with her. I would concentrate on the blocking behaviors and say, okay, as far as eating, let's see if you can come up with a plan to increase, Lizzie, the amount of food that you're eating. Because right now you're saying that you're not eating 80%. Okay, so maybe she agrees to eat a snack at lunch and maybe a protein and a fruit in the morning. And then when she gets home, she'll eat maybe some noodles and cheese. Okay, so maybe she does that for a couple of days. Okay, and so let's say I got back with Lizzie after a couple of days, and she would still rank her pain as a 60. So I put a little dot there. And as far as the blocking behavior, as far as eating, she has been trying really hard, and she's eating a light breakfast, a protein, and maybe a fruit in the morning. She eats a snack at school. She found a safe, comfortable place where she can enjoy her snack. And then at dinner, maybe, she is having something for dinner, maybe noodles and cheese or something like that. And so maybe she says, okay, I rank my blocking as a 40. I think I'm eating more. So maybe a 40. Okay. And so we're going to graph this out. And then we would multiply the 60 times 40. And that would be 2,400. Because the formula is stress equals pain times blocking. And so here, the stress number is 2,400 compared to when we first started, it was 4,800. You can't see that little zero like that. Okay. And so we've decreased almost by half, looking at our graph. Okay. And so what I would do is I would start working with Lizzie, because this would equal, if we gauge the amount of the stress unit. And so I would work with these young ladies and maybe work on the breath, some mindfulness skills like relaxation breathing, realizing bringing awareness in how the stress is feeling in their bodies, and maybe doing a body scan and breathing relaxation. Also, maybe we would plan out some mindfulness activities. And this is what I do with transition awareness breathing, is I bring in different crafts and art so that my participants can creatively express themselves and get some of the pain and some of the hurt out, and also encourage more communication and expression, and reassure them that what they're feeling is real, and they do have control over the blocking behavior, and to decrease some of that, because that would decrease some of their stress, and encourage them to get involved and not be silent. So I hope this was helpful, and I am so happy to be able to share this information with you.